Welcome to another interview in El Vocero Hispano. We have today the Chief Police, Eric Winstrom. Chief, welcome to El Vocero.
Thank you so much for having me back. I appreciate it.
Thank you. The main question everybody is asking themselves there, how is the investigation going about the last 3 homicides happened last week? Yeah.
We had tragically three people murdered in the Burton Heights neighborhood last Monday. And we have been working nonstop since then. There's only so much that I can say publicly, but I have met with my team almost every day, but they have met every day. And I am very confident that they're taking all the steps needed and that we're going to come to a conclusion where we can get answers for these families. There was a candlelight vigil on Saturday, and 2 of the victims' families were there present, and I was able to speak to Malik Eubanks' mother and Anaya Rodriguez's mother. And
she's Dominican. She was Dominican.
And both of the moms said to me, the first thing they said is, when are we going to find out what happened? You know, they want answers. We can't bring their children back, but we can give them answers. And we've been doing a ton of work, and I'm very confident that we're headed in the right direction, and I'm confident that we're going to get to the point where we have those answers and that some people will face justice.
I saw you get the security cameras from some house.
Yeah, we had a lot of cooperation in the neighborhood there, which is something that we haven't always seen. Sometimes we're to the point where we have to get search warrants to even get people to give us their doorbell cameras. And so having the detectives going door to door and meeting the neighbors there who overwhelmingly came out and said that they're not going to tolerate this, they're not going to stand for it, they're going to do what they can do to make sure that whoever committed these atrocities is going to face justice. So we've gotten a lot of support from the residents there, from the businesses there, and that's helped us immensely.
The last time you was talking about, I saw this, you was not sure about those people was killed in other place and take the body to the Horton Avenue. What was how was really the situation now? You know now, they was killing other place and they bring the body to the Horton Avenue?
Well, I'm not ready to say exactly where those 2 individuals were murdered. And there was, as you know, 3 people killed in that area last Monday. And 2 of them appeared to have been killed, most likely in a vehicle. Okay. And where they were killed, where that vehicle was when they were killed is something that we're working on, and we're not ready to share any of that information. But it does appear that those individuals were deceased and then pushed out of the vehicle at various locations there in the Burton Heights neighborhood.
Grand Rapids recorded 9 homicides in 2018. I think 18 in 2019 and 38 in 2020. And 19 in 2021, and in 22 was 23 homicides. How many homicides you count right now?
Yeah, I believe the count right now is at 21, unfortunately, which is 21 too many, but we're year to date at about the same pace as we were last year, which is a shame because we are making a lot of progress as far as that.
And the year is not end.
And the year is not over. That's right. And we saw last year a homicide very close to Christmas, and then a homicide just a few moments after the new year. Which was counted towards this year's numbers. But so we see that the fact that holidays are upon us doesn't mean that we won't necessarily still have some violence even as it gets colder. So
that number shows a gradual increase in the number of homicides. What do you think is the reason for that?
Well, one of the things that we've seen this year is we've had several domestic-related murders, and that's something that we're focused on, and that the city commission is focused on.
The most of the homicides has been the domestic
No,
issues?
not most of them.
Okay.
But we've seen a significant increase in domestic violence. And for example, there was a murder on the 300 block of Commerce Street where a young woman was killed with her ex-boyfriend who had a rifle outside in broad daylight and killed her. We had a murder last Sunday where it wasn't necessarily domestic, but it was two individuals who had a girlfriend in common at some point in time. So there was that connection. And when you talk about murders that touch on domestic violence, it makes it more difficult for the police to address that with patrols and enforcement and things like that, because obviously we don't patrol in people's houses. So then making sure that we're there to support Safe Haven, YWCA, everybody that's doing good work to prevent domestic violence and to give support for victims of domestic violence, we want to be there to support them. So doing what we can.
A couple years ago, I am talking about 10 years ago, because I have 30 years here.
Yeah.
There used to be a lot of activity, gangs activity.
Yeah.
But I think that is low now. Still gangs in Grand Rapids?
Well, it depends on how you define gangs. So what we don't see is a lot of gangs that have a large network outside of the city. So we don't see those big sort of national gangs that have a lot of money coming through driving gang violence or anything. We have seen a dip in youth violence this year, which is positive. But what we have seen are small groups of individuals who are, they have social connections, they're young, and they've been engaging in, say, stealing of cars and on a regular basis. So some of them define themselves as gangs. We don't seem to have the same problems as a lot of bigger cities have with violence associated with these gangs. But still, making sure that kids, teenagers, high school students, that age, have plenty of support from the adults in the area and have a lot of alternative options with what to do with their time, whether that's academics, arts, or sports is important because a lot of times I know everyone that I know that's an adult and successful can point to at least one adult in their youth that helped them along the way and something that they were interested in, something healthy that got them focused on doing something other than criminal activity.
I see. We see the picture of one of the victims of the homicides happened Monday. The picture, the guy was showing a lot of weapons. What about the weapons? The police the police department have a concern about the how many weapons, illegal weapons are at the street, and what the police department is thinking to do to reduce the weapon, the guns there in the street.
It is a big concern, and of course with the laws they are not only in Michigan but with the Second Amendment, we know that there are a lot of legally possessed. There are a lot of legally possessed, but even so, we recover illegally possessed guns about one and a half a day. It's we average over one a day. That
is when you make arrest or when you make the search.
That's right. That's right. And sometimes it's because we have information. Sometimes it's as simple as an individual getting arrested for something unrelated, and then a firearm is recovered. Sometimes it's the product of a search warrant. But we care very much to get illegally possessed guns off the street. And yesterday there was an individual just sentenced in federal court 70 months in prison for selling what are called Glock switches, which was an investigation that we cooperated with Benton Harbor Police, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and others, because we've had this problem pop up over the past few years where Glock switches, which are a device that turns a semi-automatic handgun into a fully automatic machine gun, have hit the streets. And so having the cooperation of all of our federal partners and the rest of our state and local partners has been key to that. So we're doing what we can, and we want to make sure that we hold individuals accountable and let the message be out there that you will be held accountable if you're caught illegally with a gun. Guns very rarely are helpful, if ever, in solving the problems that young people have. And so when you encounter a young person, and we have taken a lot of handguns off of 15, even 14-year-olds, to communicate with them and let you know what good they thought was going to come out of having that gun, whether it was for self-protection or something else. There's just too much danger, and we've seen too many lives lost because of it. So getting the message out there to us is important.
In what percent you think the guns, the illegal guns, are responsible for the increase of the homicides?
I think I think as guns are more easy to access, and then as criminals are emboldened thinking that they won't be caught with them, I think that is a recipe. We saw that in 2020, you mentioned that we had 38 murders
Yes.
in the city of Grand Rapids.
The high.
Yeah, very high. It was a record, at least for recent times. And we saw that in many cities across the country in that time. And if you remember, there were riots around George Floyd's murder.
Yeah.
And there was also COVID.
Yeah.
And because of that, police officers were taking a step back, and they were making a lot less traffic stops, a lot less stops on the streets, taking a lot less enforcement. And word got out in the criminal community that you could more easily carry a gun without being worried about being stopped and arrested.
Yeah.
And so we saw that play itself out with higher levels of murders. So getting the message out that we're past the pandemic, we are out there, we're making traffic stops, we are making arrests for illegal conduct, and especially for conduct that's going to lead to violent behavior.
Yeah.
So it's important to us to get back to a place where more people respect the sanctity of life, more people respect the rule of law, and make a safer society for all of us.
Comparing to the Grand Rapids with the other cities in the United States, do you think our criminal rate is too high, or is that normally according to the population?
Our crime rate?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, it will always be too high for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any crime
One
is too high.
high.
One is too many. Yeah. But if you look at it just from a statistical, from the size of the city we have, a medium-sized city, about 200,000 or so in the city of Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids is a very safe city compared to other cities this size and per capita compared to just numbers across the country. So we are safe. Having said that, that's not any comfort to the 21 individuals who have been murdered this year. And I know that we're always going to be working. We're never going to rest and say we're at a good level of crime. We're always going to be working to get better and get better and get safer.
Yeah, I have understood that we have about, according to the population, we have about one officer for each 700 inhabitants. Do you think how many is the good number for have the city safe?
Well, I think we need more, and we've been budgeted for as many as 396 officers in Grand Rapids, and right now, as of this morning, I think we have 284. And the FBI statistics say that police departments across the country average between 2.3 and 2.4 officers per 1,000 residents. So if we had, if we had 2.3 per 1,000, we'd have over 400 officers. So I'm thankful to have the support of the mayor, the city commission, and the city manager in seeing the need to increase the number of police officers we have. So we are having a big recruitment push. We're hiring a significant amount over the coming year or two. I see us expanding even further as we look to build a soccer stadium in Grand Rapids and build additional housing units and an amphitheater, all these things that are going to generate more activity and require more city services, including policing. So we'll be hopefully hiring many officers.
After the Leoya case, some people was asking, sometimes something normal is, sometimes something not normally, like defund the police. But there has been a little concern in few people about the police protocol. After that case, the police department have taken some new methods or rules into the officers for prevent that case like this that don't happen again.
Well, so as you may remember, Patrick Leo was killed less than a month after I got here. And my one of my jobs when I got here was to look and make sure that our policies, our procedures, our training, everything was as good as it could possibly be, because I always want to be the best. And so whether or not we had a tragic incident like that, I planned on making improvements as best I could. I think that really put a highlight for a lot of people how important it was to have the best practices in place. So some changes that have been made that sort of touch on use of force in general is that we totally overhauled the use of force policy, which now requires officers to engage in de-escalation to try and avoid the use of force. We instituted a sanctity of life policy to make human life the most important thing for us in the police department, which it always should be. And one of the things I'm very proud of is the training as far as control tactics has evolved. When I was a new police officer, we learned how to box and use our fists. And what we've done in the past year and a half is shifted from fighting to more control tactics and hold through use of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And a lot of police departments now are catching on with that and taking it. And it's not only is it much more effective than punching and hitting, but it optically it looks better. Because a lot of times you would see a video of a police officer trying to take someone into custody that was resisting, and the officer would throw punches. And if you didn't have the whole context of what was going on, it would look like police brutality. And even if the person was, even if the officer was totally justified in the punch, it probably wasn't that effective to get that person in custody anyway. So reducing the amount of strikes and increasing the training for officers to control subjects who are subject to arrest has been something I'm most proud of, and the officers have really taken to it, and they're doing a great job with the training. And we even have a grappling club at the police department. We have a mat room on the third floor where the officers train on a regular basis. So I'm really proud of the direction the department's taken.
We have as a citizens, we have to recognize that police officers are taking a lot of risks in the street. That they are not working like us in the computer and the desk. They are taking risks and they have to protect themselves.
And I appreciate that, because a lot of people that don't have that mindset will watch they'll watch a police show on TV or see a movie and just kind of think that they know everything there is to know about policing. And it is much more complicated than most people give it credit for. And it is a difficult job. And
very difficult. Chief, thanks for being with us. Do you have some message for the community?
Well, if you don't mind, I would love to say we talked before we went on camera about recruiting and how excited I am about our recruiting campaign, as we want to increase the size of the police department. So any of your viewers, if they want to check out, we have a brand new recruiting page with recruiting videos on it, and it's at joingrpd.com. So we're looking for people with a heart for service that want to come try an exciting career.
Instead, talk about the police brutality. You have to apply for be the police.
That's right. Be the change.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
I think that the police department, under your direction, have now more communication with the community. And
absolutely.
I see you everywhere.
That's right. I'm here.
You are here. And I think the criminal rate is you say that one is too many, but it's better than other years.
We're getting better. We're getting better.
Thank you for being with us. If you want to see more interviews like this, go to our webpage. It's www.elvocerous.com, or you can visit our YouTube channel in El Vocero Hispano TV. Thank you.